we're talking with Stefan, who is the co-founder of a company called Empower. To be very honest, I will give the floor to him after a second, but to be very honest, the first time I saw Empower and the first time we actually met with Stefan and he showed me what Empower can do, I immediately said to myself, wait a minute, a lot of corporate organizations need this, and they really need it badly. Empower, by the way, is also one of our sponsors, and so I think that that is more than enough for my end as an introduction. I really hope that, and I really believe that you guys are going to enjoy what Stefan is going to show you right now in the next 30 minutes. So, Stefan, the floor is yours. Let's hit it.
Thank you, Boris. Thanks for the flowers. And yeah, welcome everybody. My name is Stefan. As Boris said, I'm co-founder and managing director of Empower. We are a software company and based out of Germany, and we are like doing nothing else than software for PowerPoint since the last 15 years. With roughly 100 people doing that. So we are not only IT nerds, but also PowerPoint and presentation geeks. So, and that's obviously the reason why I want to talk about PowerPoint on steroids today, or how to create stunning presentations in less time. To get started, I want to share with you some insights from the world's largest research on presentation software. Every 4 years, we conduct a survey, and we just recently released this new study together with Nielsen, the biggest research firm in the world, and we did a representative study with more than 2,000 office workers. So it's a B2B study, right? It's focusing on how is presentation software used in corporations. As usual, of course, if you're interested, you can download it for free. We have even created industry reports. And while maybe some of the insights are not surprising to you, it proves some of our assumptions we have, right? And I want to share with you 5 insights that I find really, really interesting. And I want to talk about these just in a nutshell. So, first of all, big picture, let's look at which software is used. So there's not really a lot of reliable market data on market shares. Everybody, pretends something. So we wanted to understand what is the market share of PowerPoint versus Google Slides and all the other cool tools that are out there. And while the result is not surprising that PowerPoint is still the clear market leader with whopping 80% in the US and 85% in Europe, it's still interesting that there is competition growing, and in particular is Google Slides picking up, as you can see here. We do this study regularly, as I mentioned. So last time we did the analysis, the market share of Google Slides was like five absolute percentages less. So roughly about 5 to 10% rather than 10 to 15. So we see there's some trend of alternatives rising up on a big scale. But of course, having said this, PowerPoint, as we speak today, is still the clear market leader. So now let's get into more detail, of course, right? So we wanted to understand, how do people in organizations work with PowerPoint? And one key question, of course, in particular, if you're a tool provider like us, you want to understand how much time do people actually spend per week creating presentations. Important, we explicitly asked for creating presentations, not the art of reading a report, right? That doesn't count in here. And so there are 2 answers on the next slide. One is, how many people in the company at all actually use PowerPoint? Or, I call it PowerPoint, but like presentation software, most of the time it's PowerPoint. And what's the time spent? And the result is, I think, mind-boggling. It's 55% of office workers. We define office workers as people with a laptop or a computer, right? People that sit at the desk in the office, not maybe in the production side. And 55 of all these people in corporations around the world work regularly on presentations. And those 55% on average spend 7 hours per week on presentations. I think it's mind-boggling. It's like nearly a day per week spending on presentations. So that's a lot, right? And we know that probably, as we are many presentation experts here, but it kind of really proves the importance and relevance of this entire topic and of our jobs, by the way. So let's go even deeper into some analysis I want to share with you. So now we thought, okay, there's a lot of time spent on PowerPoint. Maybe no surprise for us, it's super important. But where did people spend the time on? Is it content, which we would assume, right? Most of the time it's content. And how much, what's the share of formatting? As we all know, well, formatting is sometimes cumbersome in office. So let's look at the share, how much time spent on content versus formatting. So the insight number 3, it's 37%, so more than a third of the entire time when editing, creating presentations is spent on formatting. That's, in other words, if we multiply this with the 7 hours per week, we talk about 2.5 hours per week where highly paid knowledge workers spend on making these slides look nice. And that's also, I think, very interesting and obviously something we should and we must improve, I would say. And even deeper, and you know, the full report goes so much deeper and with all these insights, but of course I want to show you some of those highlights. And so I think one is interesting. Now we talk about the 37%, and now we see there's a lot of time wasted on the way. What are the biggest time killers, right? That's the next question we want to ask. So what is it that really consumes so much time? And here are just the top 3. The top 3 time killers when creating slides and presentations. Number 1 is 47% say, well, I spend a lot of time when I'm creating and formatting charts. That's really cumbersome. Then 42%, still many people say that searching for templates, slides, icons, images is very time consuming. And I think this one is very interesting in particular, 38%. Like more than every third person says, I'm losing a lot of time when I'm trying to transfer or convert my old slides, my old presentations to a new design. Like there has been a new template released or a rebranding project every now and then. So always when this happens, and people have to migrate their content, right? Because we don't reinvent the wheel. We want to reuse our existing content and existing slides also with a new design. So those are the 3 biggest time killers, but of course there are many more. But I want to talk about these 3 in a second, of course. One more I have from the insights. Insight number 5, we wanted to understand, as we are as a company, and of course what we do is focused on enterprises. That's why we do a B2B study. We wanted to understand how many presentations are brand compliant today. So what is the share? What's the share of presentations that match the brand versus not? And the number has not changed over the last 4 years, I can tell you. Still, as we speak today, nearly half of all presentations around the globe, that's 47%, by the way, are not on brand. Not on brand could be wrong template, wrong fonts and colors used, wrong images, you name it, like all these issues. Most of the time they are all in one deck all together, but that's the result of the survey. And I think this is alarming if you think about the importance of brands in today's world. I mean, we don't have to discuss about this, but if you think about it, the millions and billions that companies are investing in building up a brand, in communicating their brand, think advertising, think social media. And the most important aspect of brand communication, in my humble opinion, is when a salesperson talks to the client, when a salesperson pitches, when the trainer educates your clients, when you speak to an applicant who wants to join your company. You use all these instances, you use presentations, right? They should be brand compliant. I truly believe that this is critical, and half of them are just not. So, so what is the question, right? So talking about problems is easy, but what can we do about it? And I want to talk about this, of course, and I want to just trying to summarize these insights and try to organize all the thoughts a little bit. So I think first we can state that people do continue and do right now spend a lot of time creating presentations. the trend is going up. If we look at our data, it's even more time spent on presentations. And I think it's not surprising because obviously when we talk presentations, most of the time it's not always the keynote or the session like we have so many the last 2 days. Quite often we talk about a report, about a meeting presentation, all these or proposals you send to clients. Most of them are done in presentations today. And so it's just increasingly important. While and I'm saying we as a company, we cannot really optimize the time spent on thinking your presentation through about storylining. And we had great sessions today and yesterday actually addressing exactly this topic, right? But here it's about effectiveness, not efficiency, right? You want to create a great storyline. You want to present in the best possible way. This is something where we as a technology company say, well, that's hard for us to address, but what can we do? Where can we change the presentation world? And that's by helping to eliminate these 2.5 hours every week where you search for stuff, search for slides and templates, where you do all this cumbersome formatting, and where you really have to check brand compliance. And come on, I mean, it's not easy if you're not sitting in the brand department. How do you know whether this is now brand compliant? You don't know, and you will probably not read a 100-page corporate design manual to find out, right? So how can we support that from a technology side? And that's what we do. That's what we do at Empower. As I said, we're a software company, and our mission is to help people create stunning presentations in less time and on brand. Because we believe, and that's our claim, be your best at work, we believe that presenting in general in business, I think is probably the most emotional thing in business life. So presentations are the most emotional thing you can think of in a business life because it's about presenting yourself to an audience. Even if it's just in your team, you present your work, you present your company, you present your product. And it's always a very important moment when you present, even if it's just a report you send out, not necessarily in front of an audience, right? And we want to help people to present themselves and their work in the best possible light so they can be their best at work. So I want to show you how that actually looks like, of course. So as I said, we are a software company, so please forgive me to have this one show-off slide. I want to just explain, we are a company focusing on enterprises, but we also have offerings these days for single users, etc. And we're working with one of the largest of many of the largest clients, and most of these clients actually implement a solution like Empower globally because everybody needs it. We know like 55% need it, and you normally don't know exactly who is it that works with PowerPoint or not. So we're working with many of these clients to help them increase branding in their presentations, but of course also efficiency. So for the next few minutes, I just want to give you a very quick idea of how that looks like, and just a very short use case from A to Z. And then I have one more thing that I want to share with you at the end of the session before we then go into a Q&A. All right, so let me share my screen, my PowerPoint with you. Talking Empower. Empower is a technology, it's an add-in integrating directly into PowerPoint for Windows. We also have a native Mac version, so we have a native integration for PowerPoint for Mac. We don't have a solution for Google Slides yet. Probably will come eventually if market share is further increasing. Right now we are solely on Microsoft Office, but it's directly integrated, and we also have a solution for the web add-ins. I'm showing you here on a Windows machine, and Empower as an add-in is very prominently the first ribbon, and it supports you from A to Z in the presentation creation process. A, like creating a new presentation based on your current template, and that's what I want to actually show you. So when you actually use Empower, you can centrally manage that everybody, when they launch PowerPoint, the corporate design, the corporate template automatically opens up when you start, right? You can, of course, do like stuff like confidentiality levels and all the things, and you can get started always on brand, always with the latest template. So now, let's go through a very short example. So you start with a template and now you think, yeah, probably I need some sort of structure. What we see with the majority of presentations that people create agenda or navigation slides to structure their content. So on the Empower ribbon, you see the agenda wizard, which actually is a very easy way of saying, hey, I want to maybe reuse existing slides. Very important use case. Create new slides is my second topic, and migrate from old to new, as I mentioned. So that could be my agenda for today. I hit create agenda, and Empower automatically creates these agenda slides for me, always in your corporate design, always in your look and feel, right? And you see here, we have a very plain and simple agenda. The nice thing is, talking about cumbersome formatting, if you would now have to update this agenda normally, if you do that manually, well, that takes another 5 minutes. Of course, I could go here and say, hey, I forgot the Q&A station, of course. So I can update my agenda anytime. You see here, I added the Q&A on all these slides, something that would easily waste 5 minutes of your life. And there might be sometimes errors. So this is all automated. So you focus on content, formatting is done by Empower. So that's just a little example. Let's get started. Reusing existing slides. So now I say, well, I don't want to reinvent the wheel. There's another insight from the study is that more than 80% of all presentations include many or only slides from old presentations, right? So there's a lot of time you reuse old stuff. So, and with Empower, you have a central slide library directly inside PowerPoint. So if I click on that library, just to give you an idea, I can browse through a central structure. It's company-wide available. It's synchronized offline. I can do it wherever I want. I can filter stuff by languages. And then if I can go into presentations and find individual slides. I have a Google-like search. I can select the slides I need, insert them into my presentation, and I'm good to go. So this is really a powerful way of managing it. Of course, you get update notifications if these slides, these central slides have been updated. But more importantly, we also connect to SharePoint, to Teams. So you can search from within PowerPoint, to all your data stores in your company, just as fast as it did now, and insert the slides. So no more searching anywhere for a specific slide. So that's one aspect. And you now see the structure of my presentation is I want to address the 3 time killers. So one time killer, as I just said, is finding content, finding stuff that I need for my presentation. And now we talk about creating new slides, because another time killer was that editing charts is cumbersome, but also finding right images. And let me show you how we support this process of creating new slides. If you want to start with a new slide, I mean, we tend to click on new slide, right? And then, of course, if you have a great master, you have some very useful layouts in there. But what we see in real life is that quite often there are not enough layouts. I mean, you could put 100 layouts in here, but then it gets really not nice to look at. It becomes very crowded. So what we suggest is having a slide, like a slide gallery with good looking slide templates. So if you work with a great agency, you will get like inspiring and amazing slides. You see that here on the right-hand side, you have a Google-like search. They are all nicely tagged and indexed, but you can also browse through folder structures. In my case, maybe I just want to go here, and now maybe I want a typical chart, like a process chart, or maybe I want to have something with a nice image, or talking charts. Maybe I want to talk about Gantt charts, which are nearly in every presentation in business, or more complex charts like waterfall, etc. So let me show you what we can do here. So first example. So you have a nice looking slide, right? But now you have to fill in your content, right? This is just lorem ipsum blind text. So now you put in your content, and let's imagine, while this is really nice looking, you at some point in the process of creating the slide, you realize, ooh, I need a phase 4. I didn't know that. And now choosing a new template would be really irritating and annoying. So what you could do, just to give you an idea, so you can very easily and very intuitively say, hey, I want to create a new box. So you do that and you think, what the hell is this guy doing? But we have these amazing layout tools. And with these amazing layout tools that go beyond what PowerPoint offers naturally, we can automatically fit stuff on a slide and readjust. So what I just did is, with one mouse click, I added another column. I could have done the same with a row. So I can dynamically change these templates with our layout tools here on the right-hand side. That's really helpful because if you think smart arts are, it's not perfect if we are honest, right? And this is like making smart arts perfectly looking how you want to have your slides in your corporate design. So that was one example. Just to very quickly give you another one, imagine you want to have you want to insert an image. In a company, and we just had this nice presentation before this session, you want to access your digital asset management system, right? You want to insert pictures from Picket or any other digital asset management system, and you click here, and we now directly link with these systems. So it's fully integrated. So right on the right-hand side, I can now search my asset management system. By default, we are connected to Unsplash. In our base version, of course, you just change it with your digital asset management system. And now I can search 2 million images here from Unsplash. And once I have it, I can just directly insert it inside without leaving PowerPoint into my placeholders. So 2 more examples before I'm done. Gantt charts and project plans, very, very popular in the business world, right? If you create such a slide manually, you know how time consuming that is, right? That's really taking you hours. And what we have created is a charting engine inside our Empower solution that really is fun to use. I have to tell you. So if you just, for example, you want to here add maybe another row, you can just literally, you just press your mouse and release it when you're done, and you can just you just move it around very easily, and it automatically gets adjusted. And if you now think, well, this is all easy, but what if a long text goes here? Yeah, you think, okay, now he's screwed. But of course, it automatically adjusts everything. So it's like you just focus on your content. We take care about the rest, right? And if the dates doesn't work anymore and your project got delayed, sometimes happens, right? We will change the date, like on a travel website, we just change the date. Yes, we want to move our project plan, and everything is moved accordingly. I can update my status here if something is in progress, and I have a really nice, good-looking project plan that I can keep up to date. So if some of you know ThinkCell, that's the new ThinkCell, I have to say, that's actually exactly doing these kind of project plans, but all other chart types. And that's my last example for now. So if you want to do more complex business charts, for example, like a stacked waterfall chart is something not supported natively by PowerPoint. So we have created this chart engine where you can do all this fancy stuff. And for example, you want to maybe now say, I want to show the percentage increase from the beginning of the end, or in a cost cutting, the opposite, right? So I can just very easily go here and say, hey, please add a growth from here to there, maybe in percent. And you see, it automatically not only adds this properly calculated value, it also re-renders my chart automatically. So again, no cumbersome formatting, it takes a few seconds and you're good to go. So this is, of course, just a little flavor of what Empower can do for you. To wrap up, here in the demo, there's one more thing that I didn't talk about. So editing charts becomes super easy. Finding stuff becomes super easy. There's this third point, the third time killer. What if there was another rebranding project, or we just want to improve our template because we learned so much in this conference? We want to get out a new template that's just better. How do you do that without annoying all your employees that now literally have to redo their work, right? And that's the example I want to show with you here. This is an old presentation. It's a 4x3 presentation. That's our old company name, old styles, 4x3. It's a master presentation because, copy paste, you have all these master templates. It's, the footer is kind of messed up. It's not our style, obviously, anymore, but let's assume I want to reuse that content. I want to keep that in a content. I just want to get it into the new template. And you already saw my new template, that's like a new, clean, modern look. I show you how I can actually bring it here. So we have created a design check. When you're done with your work, before you send it out, you hit the design check and be ensured that everything is brand consistent. In this case, I'll hit the design check now because I know nothing is consistent. And he says, well, there are issues with the template and many more. I hit autocorrect. And now Empower does something that PowerPoint is not doing for you. Magically, it converts to a new template. It's 16 by 9. It intelligently, as you can see here, it intelligently resizes everything to fit into the new working area. Nothing has been stretched, no itches, nothing wrong here. It's all perfect and all adjusted to new design. The footer has been aligned and all the layouts have been cleaned. That's like, one at the core of what we do is like, if you do that manually, that's 30 minutes of your life just for one presentation. If you have hundreds, you don't even start doing that. And we maybe today are presentation experts, right? We say, well, yeah, that's cool. We know how to do that manually, but it's a lot of steps. This is one mouse click. Think about the 95% who don't even know how to actually migrate. That's the idea for the next rebranding project. People will love it, I promise to you. And last but not least, that's our latest feature, what I want to show you now. We work with a lot of international enterprises, right? And these international enterprises, people translate their slides all the time to all the various languages. It's not all English, although that's a common language. We still have our local sales offices. And we just released our new version with, for some of you who know the translation service deepl.com, it was awarded by TechCrunch as the best translation engine in the world. And we are partnering with them, and they are integrated into Empower as well. So for example, if I have one or multiple slides, I can just click on translate, and now I'll choose maybe. Just for our hosts, maybe I don't speak Bulgarian, but let me translate that slide into Bulgarian. I just click here and it just goes through the DeepL API and translates the slide. And here we go. Boris can tell us later whether this is correct. I guess so, but that's magical. There was one slide I could have done with the entire presentation, and in 2 seconds, I have the best automated translation engine in the world. I still have to read it through. I know it's not perfect, but it's nearly there. And it's magical, right? Because that's another hour of your life translating it into, even if the languages you speak between, Spanish, English, or German or French. So that's a huge time saver as well. So I'm through with my little presentation, and because there is one more thing for the last 2 minutes, I guess. And there's one more thing I want to talk about. We've done something we haven't done for the last 15 years. I'm really proud to announce it today. We decided to bring out an Empower version. We call it Empower Personal, which is for free forever. And this version will be released end of April. And if you like and you sign up, you will be the first ones in the world to enjoy that new version. And why it took us so long to bring out a free version is we put so much stuff in there that we were really scared that nobody's buying our products anymore because everything is in there, right? So what's in that free version? The agenda wizard I just showed you is part of the free version. The charting, so you can create your own Gantt charts and waterfall charts with that version. Other people cannot edit it in the free version, but you can. So you have all the fancy stuff I showed you in there as well. The connection to 2 million Unsplash images, it's in the free version. We have more than 150 slide templates. You saw a few of them. They not only auto-adjust the theme in terms of colors and fonts, they also adjust to the size of your slide automatically when you insert them. So they are really useful. The 50 layout tools, the ones I showed you one of them, they are magical, all included in the free version. If you want to change the spell check to another one, to English, you can do that very easily. You can link charts, tables, and shapes to Excel data very conveniently. And last but not least, take a big presentation, you select a few slides, you can directly send them as a PDF to somebody without having to copy them out and in a new presentation. This and many more features are all part of the Empower personal version. Check it out if you like. So at least that's our part to fulfill our mission to help you be the best at work and bring your PowerPoint on steroids. And yeah, here's the address, but you also find it in the virtual booth where you can sign up. As said, in less than 2 weeks, you will have it in your inbox. So thanks so much. I hope that was useful. And if there are any questions, and if we still have time, Boris, I'm not sure, I'm happy to answer them.
To be honest, first of all, thank you for the session. Thank you for the extensive demo. Please, everyone, go and check out Empower's booth, because obviously there are very interesting things which you can find there. As Stefan is saying, we have so many questions in the QA section that we don't have time for. Like, we shouldn't even start. However, please make sure that you go there and reply to them, because people are curious, people are interested. However, it's now the lunch break, and I don't want to keep anyone from their lunch break. So Stefan is for sure going to take a look at the questions and answer all of them. Please, everyone who just saw the session and has more questions, maybe go to the booth and ask them there too, meaning if you have even more. And in the meantime, take a break. Let's thank Stefan again for doing that incredible demo and showing us just really a fraction of what Empower is really capable of. And in the next session, we are going to talk about one tool that he also mentioned that's gaining popularity, which is Google Slides. Not that popular still, but it's coming. It is coming. So we have now 50 minutes for you to just relax, chill, go to the Empower's booth, go to other sponsors' booth, talk with them, see what they're doing, and we'll see you again after almost an hour. Stefan, thank you very much again for this session.
Thank you.